Yeah, well, let me tell you something. What are you doing with those 2 spears, Saint? That's none of your business. That's none of your business. Dragon's Dogma 2 has come out, and so I'm going to be playing that. But don't you worry, because I've got some invasion footage that I recorded last weekend. It's March 24th, so take 7 days away from that, and that's when I recorded this, probably. I made a build, is the Bloody Hammer. Some of y'all might remember my family build that I made for, it was a charity event where we had to make up our own player covenants. And so I made up a player covenant called the Family. Well, this is a family member. This is Brother Strange. And this is Brother Strange, and he's at level 150. Somewhere around there's roundabouts. And he's an arcane int build with just enough faith to cast Swarm of Flies, Blood Flame Talon, and Blood Boon. And I think that's like 14 faith to be able to cast all those spells. So we got mostly int arc on this build. And it does all those things that I like to do on a build. Except this build is a family man. And you know, it's a good fun build. I have fun with it. You can do all kinds of cool, crazy combos, silly, goofy stuff. But you know, sometimes people don't want to do my silly, goofy stuff. They want to do their silly, goofy stuff. How dare you? How dare you? Good luck rolling around this build, by the way. It ain't happening. Oh, did I mention we have max cast speed? Oh, did I mention that? Uh-oh. Did I forget to say those words? Anyway. Yeah. I'll be playing Dragon's Dogma, so I'm not going to have a chance to play Elden Ring. So I know some of y'all probably don't care about Dragon's Dogma. So while I'm streaming that, here's something for y'all to watch. You know, here's some invasion so that y'all can watch. Maybe you're not watching Dragon's Dogma because you don't, you know, you don't want to get any spoilers. You know, you want to go in spoiler free. I get that. I feel that. Maybe you're just not interested in Dragon's Dogma. I don't know how the hell you manage that. Actually, I do know how you manage that. You never played the original game. Or maybe you played the original game, you just didn't take to it. I guess it's quite understandable why you might not be into it. But I'm into it in a big way. And I know I'm not going to be playing any ding-dong old Elden Ring right now. This build is a lot of goofy fun. Look, if y'all ask me the stats on this build, I'll say right off the rip, I don't know. This is what I know. And you can know this too. You can know this too. You see how my health bar goes to the middle of the compass? That's 60 vigor. Right off the rip, you know. 60 vigor. 60 vigor tells you this build is above level 80. Or is level 80. Level 80 or above. 60 vigor means level 80 or above. Well, then another thing you can look at is you can say, I know it costs 14, 15 faith to cast all those blood spells, so he's got that at least. You can say he's using the Albinoric staff, and he's using the Dragon Communion Seal. He's probably an arcane build. And then you can say it costs 27 intelligence to cast Carrion Piercer. Now you got a pretty good idea. Now you got a pretty good idea of what this build's looking like. Now, I guess you could say, well, I don't know what your strength or your dex is, and that's true. But like I told you. Look at that guy, he's just floating, he's just stuck. That's crazy to me. And now he's dead. Because he jumped in the wrong spot. That's funny. You'll never see that. You'll never see that ever happen again. You might, but it'd be rare. Yeah, I got max cast speed, but that gives you some idea of what my stats are. I don't know what they are off the top of my head. And I looked through the footage. I didn't record any footage of just the stats, you know. Sometimes in these videos, I'll open up my menu and you'll kind of get a look at them, you know, if you know where to look. But you have an idea now, you know. You have an idea. We also got that Warhawk Talon that's bleed infused. I like that weapon, and I use it on my other family build, so I thought it was kind of fitting to keep using it. And, you know, my level 60 family build uses Dragon Claw. And it uses Dragon Claw, and it uses the Blood Flame Talon, and it uses the Warhawk Talon. This build doesn't use the Dragon Claw. This build uses Int spells instead of Arc spells. But we're casting with the Albinoric Staff. And what that does is it makes these spells scale with our arcane, as well as our intelligence, but mostly arcane. Now earlier, I said, you know, sometimes people don't want to do the goofy stuff that I'm trying to do. They want to do their own goofy stuff. This is one such occasion. Earlier, you saw me having 2 spears, and you said, Saint, what are you doing with those 2 spears? And I'll show you exactly what I'm doing with those 2 spears. You see, the 2 spears, everybody hates them. Everybody hates them, and I understand. I understand why. It's because it's not a lot of fun. And a lot of people whip them out because they're like, I don't want a PvP. I'm just going to try and kill you as fast as I possibly can with these 2 spears. Right? But the thing about the 2 spears is that they remind us, like a Nickelback song, that this is not a fighting game. It's a silly game. Now these people here, they got all these bewitching branches in all of these dollar store Millwood Knights. I forget what these guys are called. But you know who I'm talking about. The ancestral followers. This is the kind of thing, right? All right, here we go. Let's do some goofy stuff, you know? And you'll notice all this rolling backwards. You'll notice all this rolling backwards. And this is a thing that you see in a lot of would-be PvPers as well. They think and misunderstand spacing is just running away. That's not spacing. That's just running away. That's just running away. I want you to watch something right here. I'm like, all right, can we fight a little bit, you know? Now, I'd understand if this homie wanted to run to the Grace, you know, or something. But that's, as soon as I start fighting this base, new game ancestral follower, that's when this person attacks. That's, you know, fair play. But, I mean, it's new game. We're level 150. You're using a new game mob on me. That's nothing. And then just rolling backwards, rolling away. See the parry shield come out. And this is, look, now running away is no good. Now you can't run away. Now what? Now what? Now what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Now what are we doing? Fighting games, my friends, have walls. There's no walls in Elden Ring. This is the worst fighting game I've ever played in my entire life. Alright? And that's what the dual spears say. They say, congratulations, let's play the worst fighting game of all time. And that's why I have them. That's why I have them on the build. Because sometimes people want to play the worst fighting game of all time, rather than play the best RPG of all time. They would rather play the worst fighting game of all time. Alright, we'll play the worst fighting game of all time. Now back to the fun stuff. I'll stop bitching. I'll stop complaining. You know we've got that Lord of Blood exaltation on us. Okay? You know that that's going to happen. Because this build is popping off with it. That's the bloody hammer. That's the bloody hammer. Who's that nailing you? This build is no longer under construction. But you are. You understand? Of course you do. Of course you do. People often ask me what's in the wondrous physic. I think it's fire and magic damage up on this particular build. Because we use magic and fire damage. And we want that damage up. Oh, the fan dagger. Look at that. Just block it. Just block it. Look at that. Just block it. Just block it. Not all of it, but a lot of it. Just block it. Not all of it, but a lot of it. Just block a lot of it. Just block a lot of it. Not all of it. Block. Not all of it, but a lot of it. Block a lot of it. Not all of it. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Hopefully you do. That swarm of flies right there. My man hitting me with the sleepy time fire. I don't get down like that. I don't get down with sleepy time fire. That's crazy to me. There's fire that puts me to sleep. What are we talking about? Oh, that's a bad move. You can't be point blanking it. You can't be point blanking it. That ain't gonna work. Look at this guy. Look at his glory. Look at his glorious pyre. He's pyreful. And he's glorious. We stay in the Halleck tree. You know? That's lore appropriate. You know, Moog, he's got shooters out here in the Halleck tree. You know, people got to make sure that they don't know that Mikola is back at the cocoon, back at the dynasty. You ever wonder why they call it the Mogwin dynasty instead of the Mogwin dynasty? It's like, is it a dynasty when it's a place or something? I never heard of that before in my entire life. Little Night Maiden's Mist. Y'all know I love that Night Maiden's Mist. Little, spinning slash with your Naga Kiba. Dos Vidanya. Dos Vidanya. Mon frere. Dos Vidanya. Amitho. You know what I'm talking about? Good day, old chap. Spinning slash on the Naga Kiba. This right here, this is one of my favorite invasion types right here. This is one of those ones where you show up while some other invader's getting ganked and you get to help turn the tides. That's one of my favorite invasion types. That's probably my favorite invasion type. You get to show up and be the cavalry. You get to show up and be the big damn hero. And then what happens? The other invader, they get the win after being ganked. You know? I love that. I love that. Right here, look at the smooth switch. Look at the smooth switch. It's hard to work with your co-invader that smooth like that. You know, a lot of times you get in each other's way, you end up hitting each other, you're trying to hit the same guy. Nah, smooth switch right there. Smooth switch, smooth invasion, smooth video, smooth like, smooth subscribe, smooth later, y'all.